You just gotta weather it. And keep on walking and don't flinch. Don't let them know they got you. Don't let them know they got you. You just gotta keep on going no matter what the day is, no matter what the mood is, keep going. God gave us everything to point forward, to go forward. And what we doing at a standstill.
What if everything you're going through is preparing you for what you asked for? Think of it like this. The universe is using every challenge to adjust your energy and frequency, getting you ready for what you really want. Each tough moment is a lesson, helping you manifest your dreams by ensuring you're ready to receive them when they arrive.
The cold water doesn't get warmer if you jump in late. I'll raise this one and say that the water will actually get even colder. I know you don't want to do the hard things now because you think you'll be in a better state of mind to do it later, more motivated, but you will only have less time and energy then, while the difficulty of that obstacle will stay the same. And the longer you put anything off, the harder it'll actually be to do it all. Because every time you avoid a responsibility, you're actively reinforcing the belief that it's too difficult for you to handle, even when it might be completely false. And the time you spend complaining, dreading about it, you could have already gotten it done because the time will always pass either way.
There's no point in doing something if you're not going to do it absolutely, and do it to the hilt. And if I'm going to do it, if I'm going to take the time to do it, then I want to do it in as much of an immersive way as possible. Because, you just come to learn in life that the things that you really get a kick out of are the things that you just can't deny. They're the things that when you're doing them, you can think of nothing else but what you're doing.
If you're gonna quit, quit when it's going well. If you're gonna quit, quit when it's easy. If you're gonna give up at the top of the mountain, not at the bottom of the mountain, not on the side of the mountain, not in the middle of the mountain. Give up when you get to the top of the mountain. If you're gonna quit, quit after you make it work in grand fashion. Quit after you build and sell a successful business. Don't quit on the journey. People will start working on something because they have this grand vision in their mind. And they think, when this happens, it's gonna be great. And it doesn't happen as fast or as smoothly as they thought it should happen, and then they quit.
The fastest growth periods are the most miserable. And if you want to progress, you have to get used to pain. But you'd be amazed at what you can endure when you have no choice. And so until the moment you die, you can always endure it. And once you die, you won't have to. Because you want to know who lives stress-free? Dead people. So in a different way, the fact that you have stress is the very thing that you can be most grateful for, which is that you're still alive.
You know what's crazy? You know you could be the one if you really wanted to, right? But see, you keep playing the what if game. What if it don't work out this? What if it don't work out? What if it do? What if it do work out? Then what? You gonna be happy, right? If you put your head down and lock in on the vision, how could you not win?
Basically, two kinds of people in life. They're winners and they're losers. And the definition is this. Losers take things that happen to them and that they feel inside that suck, and they wallow. They use it for self or outward destruction. Winners take whatever they feel it, and they transmute it into things that are good for themselves and for the world.
We are 100% responsible for our own lives.
There's somebody out there training every day, and when you meet, they will win.
And the only message I want to get across to people is, once you change one thing, your mindset.
Rest at the end, not in the middle. But I love this question, which is, what would you do if you weren't afraid?
You put so much practice into you that you can ignore every one of them that are telling you you're not gonna fucking make it, and still be able to fucking make it. Because you have put the practice in that you know this is the process. It's such a daunting task that all the voices are saying no. But you still had the conviction that I know I can do this.
I always thought joy was, oh, I get this and then I'm happy, or I do this and then I'm happy, or I get her and then I'm happy, or I make that and then I'm happy, or they respect me and then I'm happy, or I always thought happiness was to be acquired by the things I would gain from life. That's why I was always grabbing. If I knew early on that happiness actually is in me offering all of my suffering up for other people as an instructive thing, or as something that could benefit man, then I maybe would have lived my life differently. So I guess the question I would ask anybody is, how do you use your suffering to tap into your joy?
The story of Abraham's a very cool story, because Abraham's like 80 years old, living in his father's tent. Talk about failure to launch. And God shows up one day and says, you have to leave everything you know and journey out into the unknown. And you think, well, what is that? Well, that's the call to adventure. That's what it is. Man, he's thinking, things are pretty good in that tent. But, well, he goes on this tremendous adventure, and then he's the forefather of you know, biblically speaking, half the people on the planet. He has this tremendous adventure. Think, well, what do you set against the suffering of your life? Well, the adventure of your life. That's what you set against it. It's not safety. You forget about that. There's no safety for mortals, that's for sure. And besides, safety? That's what you want? You don't want that. You want adventure.
The rain's been coming down a bit this morning, and it would be the perfect excuse to not go for the run. And that's exactly why I'm out here, because when keeping your promises becomes more difficult and you keep the promise anyways, you are more and more resilient to the external world. I don't want luck and circumstance defining what I think of myself. So a change in the weather is not going to define my ability to keep a promise. I define that.
Look at my insecurities and in my fear and find drive in that. We're all looking for passion. Passion's all around you. You have a whole stack of it all around you. It's your insecurities, all that you gotta dive deep in that. It's all in there. All the energy and fuel you need is right in yourself. It's all there. You got a lot of stuff to do to overcome. And you know, that's where I found it. I found it right there in my own insecurities. I found drive in my own insecurities. And that's the most powerful thing in the world. When you can find drive in your own doubt, fear, insecurities, you become very unstoppable.
The most underrated superpower of any elite athlete is their ability to do it anyways. You're tired? You want to stay in bed? You want to skip the last few reps? You want to not put up the extra shots? You don't want to meal prep or eat the food that fuels your body? You don't want to stretch? That's great. You don't have to want to do it. The superpower comes from doing it anyways. You just do it. That's what separates the good from the great.
I'm not searching for happiness. I'm searching for peace. So my state of what I'm aiming for, I would say it is peace. Because happiness for me, taken by this word, if there's happiness, there is sadness. If something can rise, something must fall. If you can attain something, there's something to lose. That's why it's difficult. That's why I stopped a moment. I don't know what type of happiness you mean. Being satisfied with where I am standing, yes. Does it mean that I don't have hard moments? I have hard moments. And that's why for me, like, what is it I ultimately look for? I would call it's just peace.
Who you are when no one's watching, that's the version that matters the most. Not the one people praise, but the one that shows up when no one cares. That's the version that builds legacy. Because the work that counts the most is the work that no one sees. And if you can win in the dark, the light will take care of itself.
The easiest thing in life is to give up. Whatever you're focused on or whatever you're hopeful for, the hardest thing is to keep going. But we have to. We have to continue to hold on, continue to keep your head up, continuing to march on ahead towards your dream and never losing sight and not being distracted, not giving up.
Somewhere inside you, that 9-year-old kid is still watching. That 9-year-old who dreamt big. And far ahead, the 90-year-old version of you is watching too. The one who knows how fast it all goes, would give everything for one more chance. So they're both looking at you right now. The 9-year-old wants to believe in you, and the 90-year-old wants to be proud. If they both smile at who you're becoming, then keep going. You're making it count.
They threw everything at me. They did everything they could to try and get me off of track, to distract me, to take my mind off of the task at hand. And I never let that happen. There's nothing more supreme than confidence. Confidence breeds success, and success breeds confidence. Applied properly, you're inconquerable. And you have to believe in yourself. You have to believe that you're here for a purpose, to enrich the world. Your destiny is in your mouth and in your mind. Once you receive that level of confidence, it will surpass a genius.
They say you don't meet your true self until you're exhausted, because comfort hides the truth. But exhaustion drags it into the light. And what you find there, it's everything you've been avoiding. But it's you. The real you. The one stripped of ego. Nowhere else to run. Nowhere else to be. Except in the moment. And this is the inflection point. When the demons show up, are you the one who can stare darkness in the face and say, I hear you, but you don't get to decide? Or do you fold? Because when everything inside you screams quit, and you take one more rep, one more step, that's the real you. And that's where greatness lives.
Not you shackled your mind to have limits. And everybody has a limit, but find it first. I find it at times, but what happens is I then figure out how to get around it, through it, above it, climb over it, on that like limit of like, hey, I'm there. Okay, I failed. I was right there. What did I miss? Did I miss? Oh, that's what I fucking missed. And then it happens.
If you want revenge for the bad things that have happened in your life, start with the version of you that hasn't lived up to your potential.
You have no fucking idea how great you really are.
Because baby, I'm not good enough. Your story may not have such a happy beginning.
It's not okay for you to be a weak loser.
But that doesn't make you who you are.
And the reason it's not okay is because you could be way more than that.
This life is not here to make you suffer.
Because you are using such minimal of what you have.
This life is here to make you understand what is your potential.
They say the true hell is when the person that you are meets the person you could have been.
It is the rest of your story, who you choose to be.
My philosophy is, why be normal when you can be the best?
And I learned the greatest gift of all. The saddest thing in life is wasted talent.
Play full f***ing out.
If you're going to try, go all the way. You're not as far away from these dreams as you think you are.
Is that so many people die with untapped potential because they think that someone else is f***ing better than them.
All life forms strive to the max of its potential except human beings.
If you only do what you can do, you will never be more than you are now. You got the makings of greatness in you, but you gotta take the helm and chart your own course.
We can beat anyone. We can do anything. It's only a matter of going.
I forget one time I was running by a graveyard, and I ran by a graveyard, and I looked out there, and I have all these epiphanies, man. I have all these moments of like, it's crazy, man, of just thought. Cause I'm always by myself. I'm always deep in thought about how to be better. And I look out there, I'm like, man, I wonder how many of you motherfuckers in there and just are so upset with how you lived your life, regret how you lived it. And I'm running a 300-pound man thinking, man, don't fucking die like this, bro.
You know, there's one place that all the people with the greatest potential are gathered. One place, and that's the graveyard.
Everyone has the possibility to unlock something very, very special about him or herself. And it's up to your actions. Ultimately, it's you yourself who also is able to unlock it. If you're going to try, go all the way. This could mean losing girlfriends, wives, relatives, jobs, and maybe your mind. Go all the way.
Most of us don't use the stuff that we have brought into the universe. And we want to make a conscious, deliberate, determined effort to start living life with a sense of urgency and using what we've got. Using ourselves up. Sharing what we brought into the universe to share. Because if we don't, nobody else will. Stop wasting valuable time. Knowing that if we begin to live our lives as if each day were our last, our lives will take on a whole new meaning. It take on a whole new expression.
Like, I'm 54 years old right now. Like that. I mean, it just flew by. You think when you're young that you have all this time. You have no time.
And the other thing that's so interesting about being alive is that you're all in. No matter what you do, you're all in. This is going to kill you. So I think you might as well play the most magnificent game you can while you're waiting. Because do you have anything better to do? Really? Why not pick the best thing possible that you could do?
You know, I don't have it, I can't do it. Our natural tendency is to sell ourselves short. Our natural tendency is to think of the reasons why we can't before we think of the reasons why we can. So the key to breaking ourselves out of the comfort zone and breaking ourselves loose of the shackle of helplessness is courage and confidence. We neutralize the antidote to fear and ignorance is desire and knowledge. And the more we learn about what we want to do and be and have, the more we believe that we can do it. The more we believe that we can do it, the more willing we are to try. And the more willing we are to try, the more likely it is we will succeed. What is the first part of triumph? The first part of triumph is to try.
It'll take time. It'll be a process. And sometimes you will have to convince yourself, right, that it's possible. And if you don't know how to change the way that you think, begin to digest new information and find those people that empower you. Find those people, elevate your spirit and your soul, and understand that your potential, my friend, is limitless. You, my friend, are limitless, but you must believe. And if you can believe, all things are possible.
That the reason that you are doing this alone is because you are on the path to greatness. You are on the path to achieving and obtaining everything that you've ever desired. It's going to feel so good at the end.
Isolation is the gift. All the others are a test of your endurance, of how much you really want to do it. And you'll do it, despite rejection and the worst odds, and it will be better than anything you can imagine. If you're going to try, go all the way. There's no other feeling like that. You'll be alone with the gods, and the nights will flame with fire. Do it. Do it. All the way. All the way. You will ride life straight to perfect laughter. It's the only good fight there is.
A lot of people are afraid to even try hard because then if you try hard and you fail, you feel like a failure. The aspect of being a failure doesn't come from the success in the end. It comes from if you really quit on yourself, or if you don't put in the effort you know you can put in, you're kind of holding back on your true potential.
The unfulfilled potential is the story of most people's lives.
If you make yourself more than just a man, if you devote yourself to an ideal, and if they can't stop you, then you become something else entirely.
Far too many people abandon their path. And it's because they forget their why they chose this journey in the first place. Please don't let that be you.
Give a man a purpose and the ability to achieve it, and he will crawl over broken glass from the spine.
But you're cool with that, man. If you're cool with walking in the shadows of yourself, and you know the only person you got is the man right there in the shadow, man. How you doing? Pretty good. How you doing? All right, man. Cool, cool.
You know, if you're cool with that kind of walk of life, let me tell you, man, the world is your playground.
I think the best way to prove your value is to work, is to learn, is to absorb, to be a sponge. Right? You always want to outwork your potential. You know, as hard as you believe you can work harder than that.
You have so much potential. You have a gift. And the purpose that you were put here to fulfill, people out there, real people, are depending on. You will share many great memories. You will be confident and proud of the person that you've become. That's what this is for. That's what's on the line here. And that's what's waiting for you on the other side, my friend.
As you go through the challenges of life, and you look at it and embrace whatever comes to you, don't run from it. Step toward it. Don't try and duck it like most people do. See, most people want it easy. See, easy come, easy what? Easy go.
So that if there is no value proposition at hand, then you have no meaning to justify the difficult conditions of your life. And that's brutally difficult for people.
Turning a want into a crushing need is one of the most useful processes that you can master.
Defeat and failure is the greatest thing that could ever happen. Because when you're successful, you tend to not learn anything. Failure teaches you your limits. It makes you realize what you did wrong. It shows you what you could do differently.
Our life right now is the sum total of all the decisions we've made up to this point. If you forgot half of what you know, half of your expertise, half of the conversations you've had, half of the people you know, half of the words you know, how effective would you be? You wouldn't be. But what if you could retain twice as much, maybe in a fraction of the time? How much more effective would you be?
Don't worry about whether this is hard or it's taking a very long time. Just invest in yourself every day, unabashedly, going after it.
See, most people engage in low-life living, low-risk living. This God said, if you're not willing to risk, you cannot grow. And if you cannot grow, you cannot become your best. And if you cannot become your best, you can't be happy.
Understand, pain is a very powerful motivating factor. So understand that life is very difficult and that you're down a path towards something really, really bad unless you get your act together and try that first thing. Take that first step. Do whatever it is that you thought you couldn't do, and don't be afraid, because that is the most important moment in your life.
If you constantly remind yourself, after every defeat, after every setback, every time you get knocked out, you will feel your way to success.
And so if your life isn't everything it could be, you could ask yourself, well, what would happen if you just stopped wasting the opportunities that are in front of you?
You have a viewpoint, a perspective. It's like the lens on a camera. And it's through that lens that you view the world and you view people and you view events. And so your attitude, how you look at the world, will determine what you get in life.
The big thing, and this is why I always tell people, there need to be two things true about the goals you're trying to accomplish. One, they need to be honorable, and two, they need to be exciting. I legitimately am excited about the thing that I'm trying to build. And because I value myself for the sincere pursuit of this thing that is both exciting to me and honorable, and that it's, going to lift people up if I actually accomplish it, and I'm holding myself accountable to actual results, but the game of trying to turn my potential into usable skills that can do something tangible in the world to make that goal that's exciting and honorable come true, because all of that game is predicated on making sure that I love the time in the field, that I'm leaving everything out on the field, and I value myself for that. I don't value myself for accomplishing it, but I value myself for actually trying to pursue it.
If you're focusing on this person to give me that thing, my parents to give me that thing, that's you creating your attitude. You're building it. It's like a crystallization process. This crystal starts getting bigger and bigger and bigger as each new crystal is added. And you crystallize this negative, defensive attitude towards life. And that's what you're going to get.
You will go through things, and while you're going through them, you can't understand why it's happening to you. But after you go through it, you get back and you look at it and you say, oh, now I understand why I needed that lesson.
You can take these tentative steps on your pathway to destiny, and you can assume that you're going to do it badly. And that's really useful because you don't have to beat yourself up. It's pretty easy to do it badly. But the thing is, it's way better to do it badly than not to do it at all.
And I'm saying to you, whatever you got to do it, because if you don't, life is going to whoop you until you surrender.
The only thing that I think people should fear is standing still. So I've often said that running 1,000 miles an hour in the wrong direction is better than standing still.
The obstacle is the way. If you have that attitude where obstacles are actually the path forward, nothing's going to stop you.
For now, what we want to focus on is you're hopelessly average. Amazing. And now it's about recognizing that the average human being is designed to learn and grow and to get better. And so now it's a question of how do we put enough time and energy into something to actually get better at that thing?
If you think that action is the end-all be-all, you end up doing action for the sake of doing action, right? So I feel like I should always be doing and doing and doing, but sometimes you're just supposed to be. And oftentimes just sort of being there and sitting there and being still is where really great insights come from. And this is also where happiness comes from. It's hard to be happy and appreciate and feel gratitude when you're just moving all the time.
It's all mental, and people don't get it. And everybody wants to say, okay, well, here go 10 steps to, okay, Lewis said do 8, E.T. said do 9, this person says this is the 12 steps, and everybody's trying to get the steps without the mentality. It's like, okay, maybe you don't need all 9, or maybe you don't need all 8, maybe you need 4, maybe you need 12, I don't know. But I think sometimes they see what we do and say, if I can duplicate that, it's like exactly how you said in the book, exactly, and it's like, yo, you have a story. You have a unique experience. And so your 12 are shaped by not just your world, but how your world has shaped your thinking.
The very first step is you have to become aware of your current thinking. Most people don't realize that their thoughts are in the toilet, that they're listening and to themselves say negative things about 70,000 times a day. There are things like, I'm not good enough, it's not going to work out, this stuff works for other people. Works for the people in the secret, but it doesn't work for me. They want to do things, but they think, the economy's wrong, the president's wrong, the timing is wrong, I don't have enough education, I don't have enough experience. All of these kinds of negative thoughts keep people shut down.
What does like an ideal day of your life look like? Like maybe not right now, but like what do you want a day in your life to look like? Some people it's like, my dream life is being on a beach in Bali. Well, what does that actually cost? Could you have that now? Do you have to have a life that you don't like so that at the end of it, potentially you're lucky enough to go there? Or could you find a way to get that now? To think about this on a regular basis. Is my life resembling what those days are supposed to look like? And if I have too many days in a row that don't resemble what I want my day to look like, I go, I'm having the opposite of success.
They don't go for the dreams. They react to life. They kind of crawl through life with no enthusiasm, no sort of energy, and no belief in themselves or the possibilities of something better. What the law of attraction is teaching people is that you have a choice. You can change your thinking. These thoughts that we're having them. We're not them. If we can detach enough to go, oh, here comes that I'm not good enough thought again, and let it go by, we are one step removed from it.
It's not, if you really want something bad enough, it's not gonna be easy. And you can see where you wanna go, but there are so many things you're gonna have to go through to get there. But truly, if you focus and know where you wanna end up, you'll be there. It may not be at the exact time you want, which is now kind of immediate for most people, but you'll eventually get there at your time when you're supposed to.
We're constantly creating stories. Most of the time, these stories are not facts. They're facts within our own consciousness. We believe they're facts, but the truth of the matter is that they aren't. Most of it is a lowercase t and not a capital T.
You don't want to hit rock bottom, or you have to create your own mental rock bottom so that you don't hit rock bottom. It's not the money, the network. It's not, the vision board. It's, I believe, for those of us who are where we are, it's something within, and you can't go buy that. I can't give it to you. Lewis can't. Like, you gotta go within and find that and pull that stuff out.
You're not trying to get to perfection right now. You're just trying to get a little bit better than you were yesterday or an hour ago.
You make choices in your life. You program your mind to either be happy or not. That's a choice that you make. It's not something that somebody else makes for you. It's not even your situation. No matter what the situation, you truly do make the choice to be happy in that situation or not.
If you're going to try, go all the way. Otherwise, don't even start. If you're going to try, go all the way. This could mean losing girlfriends, wives, relatives, jobs, and maybe your mind. Go all the way. Isolation is the gift. All the others are a test of your endurance, or how much you really want to do it. And you'll do it, despite rejection and the worst odds. If you're going to try, go all the way.
You think jealousy is hatred. That's not what it is all. Jealousy is desire. You cannot be jealous of someone or something that you don't truly desire. Jealousy is a clue. It's a directional signal. It's a dot on the map of your life, and the desire is blocked by fear or comparison or insecurity or stress or whatever. So instead of aiming that jealousy out at the world or at myself, aim it into inspiration, aim it into motivation, explore it, lean into it, give yourself permission to have that thing, and then get off your ass and go make it happen.
If you take people, and I've told you this, and you expose them voluntarily to things that they are avoiding and are afraid of, that they know they need to overcome in order to meet their goals, their self-defined goals. If you can teach people to stand up in the face of the things they're afraid of, they get stronger. If for 10 years, if you didn't avoid doing what you knew you needed to do, what would you be like?
Instead of going backward, instead of decaying, get stronger. Get better, grow and learn and develop and live. Live in defiance of the weakness and in rebellion against the decay. Fight them as they creep in with their offers of instant gratification and immediate rewards. Fight them for every inch they try to take. Do not surrender any ground ever. Hold the line.
What fears that I'm allowing to imprison me, that's keeping me from breaking out? You are strong enough to do it. You're strong enough, and your life is worth whatever you have to go through. To get past this addiction, whatever you have to do, This dream you got, whatever you want to do, will it be easy to just run out there and do it? No. Will it happen overnight? No. Will it be a struggle? Yes. Will there be times when you can't make ends meet? Yes, that's a part of it. Will there be times you won't know what to do? Yes, that's a part of it. Will you have some opposition? Will things go wrong sometimes? You will have many visits, Murphy.
There's no other feeling like that. You'll be alone with the gods, and the nights will flame with fire. Do it. Do it. All the way. All the way. You will ride life straight to perfect laughter. It's the only good fight there is.
You judge the true character and caliber of a person, not by where they stand in times of comfort and convenience. You judge the true character and caliber of a person by where they stand in times of challenge and controversy. Because I believe, like, when you really trying to accomplish something or become something different, there's supposed to be challenges present. It's supposed to be opposition present. It's supposed to be adversity present. When you really trying to become something different, every next level of my life demands a new version of me. It's supposed to be challenges present, right? Like, if you just can become the same person over and over and over because no obstacles, no opposition, you ain't growing. You're regressing, right? I firmly believe in the thought process, every single day you either becoming better or you becoming worse. Like, I firmly believe at the end of this day, I'm gonna be a better man, I'm gonna regress a little bit based upon decisions, choices.
Engage. Weakness is strong. I must be strong. I must crush it into submission through force of will. So I savage the body. I push and pull and fight against gravity. I fight against fatigue and soreness and the weakness that says, give in. I will not give in. I will fight.
You say you want to be great, let your actions, let your words display that. If you say you really want to be elite, let your actions and let your words display that. That's uncommon, right? You can't be a common man and do uncommon things. That's uncommon. That's an uncommon mentality. That's an uncommon spirit. That's an uncommon disposition. Every single day, do you dominate in what you do?
So don't be finished. Be starting. Be alert. Be ready. Be attacking. Be relentless. Don't stop. Don't rest. Not until the enemy is completely destroyed.
Here's what I discovered that happens to you in life, that you will go through things, and while you're going through them, you can't understand why it's happening to you. But after you go through it, you get back and you look at it and you say, oh, now I understand why I needed that lesson. I couldn't understand it there. But after I got through it, then I saw that that was preparing me for bigger and better things. That as you go through the challenges of life and you look at it and embrace whatever comes to you, don't run from it. See, but when you go at what you're going to deal with and you deal with the difficulties of it, when you handle those hard things close at hand, making those hard decisions right now.
And all of us have this conflict going on at all times inside of us. And it's between two forces. And the first force is your survival instinct that's been with us for thousands, if not tens of thousands of years. Wants to inject into you fear and doubt and worry and anxiety. It wants you with fight or flight. And that's kind of your voice of fear and your inner critic. And that's really loud. That voice is in your mind all the time. And then there's another voice, this second voice. And that voice has been written about and talked about by philosophers for thousands of years. And that voice has been called many names. It's been called your intuition. That voice is a little quieter. And that voice isn't in your head. A lot of times it shows up in your body. It shows up in your heart, your gut, your chest. You feel that. And unfortunately, that first voice really drowns us out a lot of times. And the thing is that the voice of fear will lead you to a life that's too small. And you know this. You already know this. And the way that you know this is you feel this. You feel this conflict, this dissonance and tension when you're in that position, when you're doing something that's too small. If you want to reach full power in this one life of yours, it's in the second voice. It's in the voice that's the real you.
So if your false identity says that you're a loser, you're a deadbeat, you're not deserving, you're a failure, you're not worthy, you will find evidence in the world to reinforce that. If your identity then says, I'm a winner, I'm deserving, deserve happiness, abundance, joy, success, and I will always find evidence in the world to find that. It starts off with rewriting your story. Be specific about how you want your life to look in the categories that matter. Write down specifically what you want your life to look. And then once you write that down, go, what are the habits that this needs to have in order to bring that story to life? When you bring that story to life, the false identity sheds and the new identity is developed.
It's a long grind, and it's totally worth it because it's not about where you get, it's about who you become in the process of getting there. And when you quit, you'll never meet that person. The hard part of quitting is not just that you lost your dream. That's bad. Worse is you're never going to meet the man or woman you could have been had you pursued it. But what is even way better than you think it will be is who you become in the process of getting there and being proud of you. And I could tell you, the things you'd be most proud of is the fact that you lasted, is the fact that you got up after you quit, is the fact that you go, you know what, I did quit, but I'm getting back. I'm getting back up. I lasted, I'm tough, I'm resilient, I'm mentally tough. I innovated, I pivoted, I improved, I grew, I fought, I clawed, I competed, I won. That's way better than you think it is. It's way better. Man. Remember that when I almost quit? Remember that time I was down for a while? Remember when that person said this? Remember when that controversy? Man, that one would have knocked anybody. Remember when that person stole from me? Remember when that person did this to me? Just so you know, everything you think probably bad will happen, probably will, and worse. And that's what makes it so sweet when you last.
Live your life at full power. And I believe that that power is already inside you right now. And that the way to access that power is through your second voice. And your second voice is not just the path to accessing that power, but it will also show you where to direct it, to have the biggest impact that you're going to have in this world. That voice speaks to you in the language of energy. That's how you know what it's saying. So go toward that energy and make a promise that you will constantly move in the direction of the thing that gives you energy, particularly the thing you knew you would do if you knew you wouldn't fail. That voice wants you to go all in. It wants you to experience yourself at full power. So make a promise that you will not wait, that you will not utter the words, not now, but you'll go all in with wherever you are in your life right now. I used to think that there were millions of decisions that we would make and that life was really complicated. I think that I've realized if you want to live at full power and feel the full magnitude of what you can do in this one life that you have, that there's really only one decision. Which voice will you listen to?
I think when you feel stuck or dissatisfied in your life, it's a signal. And it's not a signal that your life is broken. It's a signal that one of your most basic needs are not being met. Your need for exploration. Everything about your life, about your body grows. Your cells regenerate, your hair, your nails, everything grows for your entire life. And your soul needs exploration and growth. And the only way you'll get it is by forcing yourself to be uncomfortable. So get out of your head. Your feelings are screwing you. I don't care how you feel. I care about what you want. And if you listen to how you feel when it comes to what you want, you will not get it.
Human being has to have a sense of purpose. The feeling of no purpose is suicidal. So what people do is they create a false sense of purpose. Their false sense of purpose will be attention. If I get so much attention from people and so much recognition, then I'm fulfilled. But then you can never realize that. You can never get enough attention. As an individual, you had a purpose in life. You had something you were meant to achieve because you have a unique DNA, unique genetics, and unique parents, a unique experience. Something about you is truly original and weird. And to the degree that you mine that weirdness and your uniqueness, you can become fulfilled. You can create something beautiful and lasting.
We live in a world obsessed with perfection. The perfect body, the perfect career, the perfect relationship, the perfect life. We scroll through social media, flipping past polished images, filtered moments, and curated stories. It's all so easy to get caught up in this illusion of perfection. That if you just get everything right, just line up all the pieces, then success and happiness will follow. But here's the truth. Perfection doesn't exist. It's an illusion, a moving target that you'll never quite hit. And the more you chase it, the more you waste time trying to get everything just right, the further you'll drift from your real goal. Because perfection isn't the goal, progress is. We are conditioned to think that we need to have everything aligned before we can move forward. We wait for the perfect moment, the perfect plan, the perfect circumstances. But while we're waiting, life is passing us by. The version of you who has the life you dream of isn't the one waiting for things to be perfect. It's the one moving forward, no matter how imperfect the journey looks. The problem with perfection is that it paralyzes you. It keeps you stuck in the planning phase, in the research phase, in the thinking phase, forever refining, forever adjusting, never doing. You wait for the moment when everything aligns, but by the time it does, you've lost so much time that it hardly matters. If you're constantly waiting for things to be perfect, you're wasting your life away. You're stuck in a cycle of waiting and doubting. You tell yourself, I'll start once I have this figured out, but that day never comes. The truth is, you'll never have it all figured out, and that's okay. The only thing that matters is that you start. Even if it's messy, even if it's imperfect, the only way to make progress is to take that first step, even if you don't know where the second one will lead. Perfection is about control, about seeking something that is impossible to hold on to. But progress is about moving forward. It's about learning, growing, stumbling, and getting back up. Progress is messy, raw, imperfect, and beautiful all at once. It's about taking action, even when you're unsure. The people who achieve great things are not the ones who waited until everything was flawless. They're the ones who were willing to move forward even when they weren't ready. They acted, they made mistakes, they learned from them, and each small step, each decision, each action, however imperfect, added up over time. They didn't worry about getting everything perfect, they just focused on getting better. And that's the key. Progress isn't about reaching perfection, it's about becoming better than you were yesterday. Every day is an opportunity to grow, to evolve, to take one more step forward, even when it feels like progress is slow. Because the small, consistent efforts you make today are what build the foundation for tomorrow's success. There's freedom in progress. It's about giving yourself permission to grow without needing to have everything perfect. It's about embracing the discomfort of starting before you're ready, of taking that first step, even if you don't have the whole plan figured out. You don't need the perfect blueprint. You just need the courage to move forward. Perfection keeps you stuck in a dream world one where everything is idealized and nothing real can ever happen. It's a world of waiting for the right conditions, the right opportunity, the right timing. But progress forces you to deal with reality. It forces you to confront where you are, accept that you're not perfect, and keep moving anyway. Life isn't about creating a perfect image of yourself. It's about growing into the best version of who you already are. And that growth doesn't come from waiting. It comes from doing. It comes from learning through doing, through failing, through adjusting, and through keeping your focus on progress, not perfection. In the end, it's not about being perfect. It's about being better than you were yesterday. Each day, you get one step closer to the person you're becoming, not because everything aligns perfectly, but because you keep moving forward despite the imperfections. The road will never be perfect. The plan will never be flawless. The conditions will never be ideal. But the magic happens when you start anyway. The moment you stop waiting for the perfect time, it is the moment you begin to create your own opportunities. So stop waiting. Stop trying to make it all perfect. Start moving, start doing, start learning. Let go of the idea that everything needs to be flawless, and instead, embrace the mess, the progress, the beautiful, imperfect journey. Because progress, not perfection, is what gets you where you want to go. Every step, every effort, every imperfect action you take brings you closer to the version of yourself that you've always dreamed of becoming. Perfection is an illusion. Progress is reality. So focus on moving forward, no matter how small the steps. Because the person you want to be is out there waiting for you. Just on the other side of every imperfect action you take today.